retirement life is turning into a nightmare because of a current neighbor, Colton Moore, and his father, Walter Moore. And the public needs to know about this.
This is harassment, plain and simple. It is inexcusable, it's bullying, and they know they can get away with it. That's all I got.
My name is Carol Dixon, and thank you for allowing me for this opportunity to speak with you. I am a resident of Dade County. I live at 594 Cherokee Loop, Rising Fawn, Georgia, in the New Salem community. I moved here 18 years ago with my family. We live here on a 3-acre mini farm, raising animals, gardening, and enjoying the country lifestyle. I just retired this February 2022 after working for many years to one day retire on my little farm. I finally obtained that goal in February and live on my farm with my dogs, cats, chickens, and goats. However, events have taken a turn, and my retirement life is turning into a nightmare because of a current neighbor and property owner, Colton Moore, and his father, Walter Moore. It is particularly important for me to bring my concerns to the commission, because I need to make a public awareness with information that demonstrates Colton Moore's personality and ethics as one who was running for political office. This office is for the Georgia State Senate District 53 and includes Dade County. Where my story starts is that Colton's father, Walter Moore, told me that they wanted to clear their pasture next door on their 62 acres, and they wanted to bring in cows and raise cattle. This was approximately 2 years ago. There was little or no fencing on the subject property, and he asked me if they could share my present pasture fencing, which was installed when I moved here 18 years ago by me. I told Walter that I wanted to be a good neighbor and agreed to sharing my fences. So they added some fencing to mine to complete a pasture, got a couple cows, then more as they increased their pasture fencing. Their new pasture really never established a good standing of grass, and it wasn't long before his cows were pushing on and weakening my older fences, trying to get grass in my plush green goat pasture. One day, I received a phone call from Colton asking me if I knew anything about his cows getting out of the pasture. I was working from home at the time and told him I would go outside, and saw several people outside rounding up the cows. The following day, his father, Walter, came over and asked me if I had intentionally let the cows out. That is something I would never do. Sometime later, I told Colton that he would need to put up his own new fences on his side of the property lines. He said that he would change out my fencing using my fence posts to make it stronger, but I stated that he needed to build his own fences on his property. He started questioning whether the fences were truly mine and threatened to cut them down. I told him not to touch my fences or I would call the police. On July 2nd of last year, I was driving home down the loop, and there was a piece of heavy equipment parked in the right-of-way, which happens quite often, and I lightly tapped the car horn because I did not see anyone in the vehicle. Later that day, Colton hauled a junk car to the front side of my property line, right next to my driveway, which is maybe 20, 30 feet over, and when I asked him what he was doing, he said that I had no right to beep at him, and that was the reason why. I explained that I didn't see anyone there and that they have in the past had a habit of blocking the road and needed to be more mindful of that since it was a public right-of-way. I decided to get an updated survey and paid to have Daniel Colliers to resurvey the property, marking the property line with orange stakes and ribbons every 50 feet on our common property lines. One of Colton's cows busted through my fence, and Colton barely reattached it. I had to hire somebody to secure the fencing, and while doing so was confronted by Colton, who indicated that I shouldn't have gone through the trouble to hire a surveyor. I told him I was doing both of us a favor and he could now proceed to build his own fence on his own property. Ironically, I had a span of about 250 feet of fencing that was on his property by no more than 3 inches. We walked the property line together, and he said that it was now his fence and that he was going to cut it down. Again, I told him I would move it. Later that evening, I heard heavy equipment and realized that he and his father had cut the 250-foot span of fencing, pulled it and all of the fence posts out of the ground, rolled them up into a ball, and piled them up on top of the white junk vehicle that was on the property line. My goats were in that pasture, and I had to quickly herd them into an area in front of the barn. Moore's cows were supposedly moved down the road to a neighbor's pasture that had grass.
Got about a minute and a half, so kind of get to the point.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, I guess the point of the matter is I've had to call the police out to my house 3 times because of behavior that's just not appropriate. And the latest was just this past Tuesday when I had 3 big pickup trucks containing 5 late 20s, 30s gentlemen, not really gentlemen, pull into the side property, and they were shooting guns for over 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I called Trenton Police again. They said, they have a right to shoot, but, we can't really do much about it. And the bottom line is that this is all retaliation because I haven't given him his way to use my fences, to do what he wants, to speak the way he wants. And so I really feel like I have been bullied by them. Colton told me he was going to make my life so miserable that I would have to sell and move. They have beat torrents at me and driven their heavy equipment back and forth. I am a 63-year-old retired lady who lives by myself. Because I am not allowing them to have their way, they are retaliating, showing aggression, and causing me undue stress. I have no problems with any other land adjoining neighbors and only want to live peacefully on my farm. Something needs to be done. I realize that Dade County has no zoning laws, and this is a serious problem. This needs to change. Nobody wants it to be their problem until it's happening to them. Nobody wants piles of junk to accumulate next to their property where there could potentially be fuel runoff, contamination, and vermin. It would be a wonderful world if everyone could live with the do unto others rule, and that is why we must have laws for guidelines. I am afraid of this intimidation, fear, and bullying. I'm also fearful that Colton Moore's personality will not represent our county well, should he be elected to the Senate position. This is not a Democratic or a Republican thing. This is a people thing. This is a moral thing. There are many people in Dade County who support my feelings but are afraid to say anything or place a Steve Henry sign in their yard for fear of retaliation. And the public needs to know about this. So in closing, please, I am here tonight to ask for help from the Dade County Commission. Can I count on you for some action so I can better enjoy my little retirement farm and help Dade County to be a better, safer place to live? Thanks for your attention. And we do have some pictures that I just want to show you guys because you got to see it to believe it. This is my side property line, and this is where the white car is with the fencing and my fence post all on top of it. That's my red barn. The property line goes down and then swings over to the right. And those are things that he's placed all along my fence line, just on his side, to show you what he's trying to accomplish. And as he says, make me so unhappy that I'll move.
We want to cut you short, though. We try to be fair to everybody on 5 minutes, and I just...
That's outside my garage window.
Yeah.
And this is a BP gas station that was down in Rising Fawn. There's the other half of it. This is where my driveway goes up the side there. There's a couch out by the road, a school bus, and here's the 3 guys yesterday shooting. My fence goes right here and then alongside my barn, right next to the goats.
All right, we got some other people want to talk to us.
Can I say something?
Tell us who you are.
Bonnie Casey. I taught a lot of these people in school. I do believe, don't take, no, Lamar. This is harassment, plain and simple. Now, yet zoning laws, I know that we do live in the country. I'm glad I live in the country. This also makes our neighborhood look like crap. I mean, when you ride around on Cherokee and see this, I mean, it's really horrible. It's not, yeah, what they're doing to her is bad. And the Moores and I go back a long way, and it's good stuff. Because their mother kept Anna when she was little, because I was a single parent just like she is, okay? Her daughter's in law school right now. She just doesn't deserve this. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
And, it's a little scary for me too, because now I have to think about, okay, am I going to be retaliated against? But I'm going to try not to live in fear. And I don't have any animosity towards them except for what they've done, and it's horrible. And if you hadn't seen it, you need to go look at it. It is inexcusable, it's bullying, and they know they can get away with it. And that's all I got to say.
Okay, thank you, Bonnie.
And it has nothing to do with politics.
And that's what
She
we
probably is on the same kind of side that the Moores are, okay? She's a gun owner. She's a, certified gun owner. She doesn't have a problem with that. But when somebody lines up their trucks on your property and shoots to scare your goats and to scare you, it's wrong. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Bonnie. Mr. Henniger.